I'm Tim Young, and this is video number 2 in a series of 12 where I share my ideas on weight loss and fitness. Be sure and click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So today we're talking about a very big issue, motivation. Actually, we're talking about mechanics versus motivation. Often it's not the lack of knowledge that short circuits our efforts at fitness, but it's a lack of motivation that is the problem. So we're going to talk a little bit about how that works. In my book, Lasting Weight Loss, I talk a lot about the mechanics, but the idea is that results becomes the motivator. Nothing inspires us like success. So I talk a lot about the mechanics. If you've got my book, you know that I talk about 5 practices. And the question is, what's the real issue? Is it the mechanics, and does motivation follow the mechanics? Or is it that we need to be motivated so that we do what we know to do? We do the mechanics. I think it's the mechanics. And so I emphasize that. And the first thing that I emphasize is keeping a food journal. That's practice number 1, keeping a food journal. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and explain how I do mine. But first, a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, nutritionist, or a personal trainer. Everything in my books or teaching is based on my own experience. Before beginning any effort at losing weight or any new exercise program, you should consult your family physician. So on this issue of keeping a food journal, I was thinking about how when we first got married, I was the family accountant. And I kept the checkbook, but I never balanced the checkbook. My idea was, as long as there's checks, just keep writing. Well, you know where we ended up. There's something about writing things down that makes it all very black and white. When you write things down, it makes it all very, very real. And the same thing is true when you keep a food journal. So I've done a video here where I talk about, or I show you my food journal. And I use my weekly nutrition guide. And if you'll subscribe to my email list at lastingloss.com, I'll send you that PDF file. It's very old school, but it works for me. So the first issue in keeping a food journal, I think, is consistency. And it's not the first day that's tough or the first week, but it's doing it day in, day out, week in, week out. So consistency, that's the main thing there, I think. And then, as you can see, every day I write down exactly what I'm eating. If it's a new food, I might write down a portion size. And throughout the day, I bring it to a total so that I see how I'm doing on my calorie goal for that day. I also have a place on this weekly nutrition guide where I can mark whether or not I've gotten activity that day, whether or not I've gotten my water in, my fruits, and my vegetables. And then there's a place for reflection. Sometimes there's something going on that makes it tough not to eat comfort foods. You'll see Friday night's pizza night at our house, and that's a trigger food for me, so I write that down. I mark down my trail run for Saturday coming up here. So it's just a matter of monitoring your intake and your activity. So remember, here's what I want you to take with you. If you'll do the mechanics leads to motivation. And you can do this. Just do what you know to do. Thanks for watching.